for them specifically, I found out a very interesting thing, which is that if you take a look at the stream, I found out that if you split email service providers, you will find out which emails to contact. Because with all of these different providers, right? So we have Google, then we have Outlook, and then we have like a lot of other, which like includes Zoho and stuff, but like who cares about Zoho? I'm not gonna write down Zoho. No one cares about Zoho. And then we also have the ones that have spam filters, like Barracuda, Proofpoint, and Mimecast, just to name a couple, right? If you email these separately, you will find out something that is super impressive, right? Which is that each and every single one of these will give you separate response rates, aka deliverability, right? Because the response rates are a primary indicator of how often, right? How often you land in the primary inbox or spam. If you have bad response rates, you'll be landing in spam. If you have solid response rates, you'll be landing in the primary inbox. And now, the reason this, like all of this is super interesting is if you have, say, 100 different inboxes, right? 100 inboxes. You can send out something like, I think, 2,000 emails per day, right? If you now have a prospect list that has a split of 40% these, right? This is terrible right now. This is 40%. And then 30% this, and then 30% rest, right? Let's do 30% rest. If you then find out that other gives you, on average, a point, usually it's like 0.9. Just played music. Just like a 0.9% response rate, right? And you find out that Outlook, very typical, very, very, very typical, gets you something like this. And then you figure out that Google is giving you a 2.6% response rate. Man, you are wasting 60% of your daily sending capacity. This means that with 2,000, right? You're wasting 1,200 emails sent per day on garbage, on absolute garbage, which is why we split these campaigns into multiple campaigns. So we will have the same list, we'll target the same people, right? But we will split the prospect list into the different types of email addresses we're going to email to, right? This is super important because just doing this has, I think, tripled the response rates that we got for AirPay. And I don't know why my internet is doing its thing. Are we still live? Yes, thank God we're live. Okay. This is exactly what happened for AirPay, right? And this has improved the campaigns in an impressive way, like super impressive. And I learned this almost like 1.5 years ago, or a year ago, something like this. Wild, right?